Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Wormwood, Chernobyl. There is breaking news out about Chernobyl. And I had the story this morning, the video, about Chernobyl 2 and Russia threatening that there would be a Chernobyl 2. Come to find out that the speculation is that Chernobyl 2 actually meant a false flag in Chernobyl itself. And this is incredible to me. You can't make this stuff up. Let's go to this is Revelation chapter 8, and of course chapter 6 details the four horsemen of the apocalypse. You get into the first four seals there, four horsemen of the apocalypse, and you get into the up into the seventh seal, and we're into really the judgment. We're after the sun and the moon go dark. The seven angels come out, and they have trumpets, and the seven angels, which had seven trumpets prepared them to sound. Now, this is the wrath of God falling. But this verse 10 here, verse 10 and 11, actually, let me scroll up here. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon a third of the rivers, upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And a third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died because the waters were made bitter. Now, what does a nuclear weapon do? It causes the water to have radiation in it, to become bitter, poisonous. And the Bible uses the word wormwood here. So what does wormwood mean? Well, of course, you know that wormwood is the name for Chernobyl. This is Chernobyl. That's the city sign there. The city's name is the same as the one of the Ukrainian names for Artemisia vulgaris, mugwort, or common wormwood. You can see it here, which is Ukrainian, and it's translated Chernobyl, and that's the name of the city, Chernobyl, wormwood. So there's a direct relation there. And so here's the news from War News 247. Russia informed China and India there will be a nuclear explosion in Chernobyl with a replica of a Russian Iskander missile. And the question is to evacuate Kiev. Well, the problem is that Kiev is 90 kilometers away from Chernobyl. If a weapon goes there, it doesn't matter what side. If someone launches a missile there, blows up Chernobyl, that would fulfill the dirty bomb suggestion that Russia has been putting out there. Now, it doesn't matter what side does it. It's going to be terrible for Europe and specifically for Kiev, and so they're evacuating Kiev. Is this why China got all its people out of Ukraine? Russian media with emergency responses convey information about an imminent explosion of a dirty bomb in the Chernobyl zone. All indications that the decision to detonate a dirty bomb has been made. The Russians speak of completion of Ukrainian preparations. Of course, they're blaming Ukraine. I don't know who's doing it. It doesn't matter. This will escalate the war, and one side, if not both sides, want to keep this going. Remember, no one's calling for peace talks. No one's interested in peace talks. You don't see the United States trying to broker peace talks or trying to get together with Putin right now to come up with some sort of peace plan. When Musk suggested a peace plan on Twitter, he got shouted down hard for suggesting any sort of agreement or compromise. The Russians are now very specific, and there's three ways to detonate a dirty bomb, it says, and they're suggesting that the Ukrainians are going to make a fake Iskander missile so that when it hits Chernobyl, I guess the big concrete dome there, that people will think it's Russia. The fact that Russia continued its contacts by informing China and India at the highest level should be of concern. Russia has notified all the nuclear powers of the planet so that there is no miscalculation and World War III begins. Now, it's a bit of a awkward translation, but the suggestion is that Russia's telling everybody, the UN, all the major nations, so that global nuclear war is not triggered by whatever they think is coming. So they spoke about Chernobyl 2 on the Russian media, and I did a video about that. Chernobyl 2 in a big city. Well, the choice is not random, says the article. The purpose, according to the Russians, is not to cause thousands of casualties and drag NATO into the war, but Kiev will be affected as Chernobyl is located 90 kilometers northeast of the Ukrainian capital. Depending on the power of the dirty nuclear bomb, it may even be necessary to evacuate Kiev. And of course, Russia's biochemical warfare forces are on high alert. So this is a story coming out. I don't know how true it is. Rhetoric is increasing. The loudness of this, you've heard this across several different YouTube channels, I'm sure, at this point. And this is getting louder and louder and louder to the point where you think something has to give. It's incredible that there's so much rhetoric and threatening out there. And if this happens, does it trigger World War III? Is it enough? Is NATO actually interested in going to all-out war with Russia? What's the end goal and who's playing this? These are all open questions. But again, we do see this happening apparently when the wrath of God comes, and this whole wormwood idea connected to nuclear waste, nuclear poisoning, radioactive poisoning of the waters of the earth there when the third trumpet is blown. Let's see. Second angel, as it were, a great mountain burning with fire. A third part of the creatures were in the sea. Oh yeah, third angel sounded, and there fell a great star. So I was right the first time. And it made the waters became wormwood, and men died. Many men died because the waters were made bitter. So this is in our future. Whether it happens now in Russia, Ukraine, it may or may not, but there will be a time coming. And this, I think this is less than 4 years away. Verse 11 here, if I'm right that it happens in the second half of the 7-year period, and if my timeline is correct, and it may not be, but if I'm right, then basically the same thing happens. There's some sort of nuclear event, a radiation event, whatever it may be, man-made or supernatural, I have no idea. But the Bible speaks of this, and we have Chernobyl 2 coming, and you could call that Wormwood 2 if you wanted. Folks, it's incredible times that we're living in. You can't make this stuff up. We are in the very last days. We could be close to the return of the Lord, but I think we're going to see a lot of hard times first. And that's why you need to be prepared. Be wise. Be wise like the ant. Get ready for winter, and it will be a cold winter. What does the Bible say the ants do? Well, the ants work very hard all summer, day in, day out, getting prepared. They're not just waiting on the Lord to provide all their needs for them. They're working hard for what they have so that they can survive the cold winter. And God gave us a brain. God gave us strength and ability and wisdom so that we can do the same. We trust in the Lord, but we also use the blessings and the gifts and the experience and the strength that the Lord gives us in this day and time to do what we need to as well. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next video.